This is an eternal war that has raged for millennia between angels and demons in the Diablo universe. And here are the three most significant events in the Diablo universe: the event of the Dark Exile, the darkening of Tristram, and the event of the Lord of Destruction. And here is the return of the creator of humanity, the demon Lilith. In today's video, you are about to hear the most captivating and comprehensive historical narrative stretching from the creation of the Diablo universe to the present day. Prominent events, hidden secrets you've never known, all woven into each era of the timeline. You won't miss any event in this concise historical overview. Welcome to the video about the Diablo universe timeline. The people of Sanctuary use a calendar system created by the Zakaram faith, the religion of light. At the height of their power, the church assembled a group of scholars to record the world's history as they saw it. Their history starts with year zero, marking the foundation of the church. The years afterward are counted from this point, while the years before are counted backward, place negative numbers. Minus 2,300 years is the earliest historical milestone they can document. This is when humanity's first civilization emerged, and they lack accurate data for the four crucial historical milestones before that: the beginning, the eternal conflict, the birth of Sanctuary and Nephilim, along with the Purge event. Much of history went unrecorded and slowly faded into oblivion. Some scholars today seek answers about the origins of Sanctuary. Today I'll help them record this history, the history of the creator of angels and demons. The first being to exist in the world was the primeval Anu. He was all and unique. After eons of self-reflection, Anu sought perfection, deciding to expel all the darkness within him to become a being of goodness and purity. A noble idea, right? But far from it. The expelled darkness had to go somewhere and formed another entity named Taphamet, a seven-headed dragon. Anu and Taphamet clashed for millennia. Light fought darkness, day fought night, until they exhausted their energies in one final blow. Both were annihilated by that destructive act. What we know today is the World Stone is in fact Anu's eye. The region that formed around the World Stone is called Pandemonium. From the bones of Anu arose the Crystal Arch, the foundation of high heavens. From the Crystal Arch came light, sound, and spirit. We call them angels. Beneath Pandemonium became the hiding place for a dark force created from Taphamet's remains. What we now know is how. And the seven heads of the dragon gave rise to three prime evils and four lesser evils. Hellforge is where all demons are born and where they return after death. The events born from the Crystal Arch and the Hellforge set the stage for a conflict between angels and demons, a conflict known as the Eternal Conflict. Their goal was to gain control over the ultimate source of creation, the World Stone. Pandemonium was rebuilt to safeguard their artifact. Ownership of the Pandemonium Fortress changed hands between angels and demons numerous times throughout the Eternal War. When held by angels, the World Stone gave rise to worlds of light and perfect order. But these worlds remained static and devoid of life. When in the demon's grasp, it birthed chaotic and destructive realms. These worlds, too, were unstable. The conflict stretched on for an indeterminate duration, but I'd wager it was quite lengthy, given its name, Eternal. Worlds were constantly created and destroyed by either side in their race to control the heart of creation. As discussed earlier, angels are born from the Crystal Arch, essentially born from Anu's power. But that power is finite, so only a specific number of angels can exist at any given time. Only the death of an angel replenishes energy into the Crystal Arch and is used to birth another angel. And after an angel's death, it doesn't mean they return. Rather, a new angel is born. Not all angels are equal. Some angels hold more power and higher status in high heavens. The five most powerful angels among them rule over high heavens and are known as the Angairis Council. Each angel represents a virtue of Anu. Imperius embodies courage and leads the council. Malthael represents wisdom and was the first angel created by the Creator. Tyrael stands for justice, Auriel for hope. Ithariel, the angel of fate. Among them, Melphiel was the first angel to explore and understand the world stone. He was the first to notice it was stolen later in the timeline. Demons, on the other hand, do not adhere to rules or hierarchy like angels. They are more ambitious and power-hungry. Key demons govern their own territories in hell. In some cases, certain demons refuse to align with any specific faction. The three most powerful and formidable demons in hell are Diablo, Lord of Terror; Baal, the Lord of Destruction; Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred. Of them, Diablo is often seen as the most powerful and unpredictable due to his unrestrained ambition and manipulative abilities. Mephisto is the second entity created from the destruction of Anu and Tephanet. The angel Malthael was the first entity as discussed earlier. Mephisto is more rational and strategic, and also the most vengeful. He is the father of two other demons, Lilith and Lucian. Additionally, there are less powerful demons: Asmodon, the Lord of Sin; Belial, the Lord of Lies; Andariel, the Maiden of Anguish; and Duriel, the Lord of Pain. The birth of the world. Sanctuary we live in today originates from Menadius, a powerful angel who once served as an advisor to the Andrus Council under the direct command of Tyrell. After becoming weary of the eternal conflict, he questioned the ultimate futility of fighting against evil to claim the World Stone in the exchange of power. He began to lose faith in High Heaven's objectives, but being an obedient angel, he continued to fight tirelessly, until one day he failed in battle and was captured by demons. During Anarius' captivity, he expressed his views on the utter futility of the eternal conflict to his demonic captors, and fortunately found sympathy from one demon, Lilith, the daughter of Mephisto. For a demon, Lilith was quite alluring, and Anarius became utterly infatuated with her. They fell in love and devised a plan to rebel against both heaven and hell, which involved stealing the World Stone for themselves to end the eternal conflict. After rallying like-minded individuals, they stole the World Stone and harnessed its power to conceal themselves and create an alternate dimension. In that alternate dimension, Anarius, Lilith, and their followers created the worlds of Sanctuary. It turns out that combining elements of order and chaos can result in a relatively stable world compared to the previous attempts made by each faction. Mount Ariyat was the first region created and was used to house the World Stone, Nephilim, and the Purge. Anarius, Lilith, and their followers lived relatively harmoniously in Sanctuary. They came together to create the first generation of angels and demons, known as the Nephilim. The firstborn was the son of Anarius and Lilith, named Lunarian. Later, Lunarian became known as Rathma, the first to wield necromancer magic, and our modern humans refer to Lunarian and the early Nephilim as the Ancients. There were likely tens of thousands of Ancients at some point in Sanctuary's history. They spread across this new world in an effort to understand and comprehend it. But what was initially seen as a blessing by the angel-demon pair quickly became a cause for concern. The Nephilim were far more powerful than anything that had existed before, and many wondered if the Nephilim could become a threat. Could they make heaven or hell aware of Sanctuary's existence? The fear of the latent threat of Nephilim power caused conflicts between Lilith and Anarius and their respective groups. Anarius took time to contemplate the possibility of exterminating these offspring, while Lilith recognized the potential in the Nephilim's power and wanted to use it for her own benefit to end the eternal conflict. By using them to eliminate both heaven and hell so she could become the dominator of creation, sensing a massacre about to happen with these offspring, she preemptively initiated chaos across the entirety of Sanctuary. Lilith swiftly killed all angels and demons while Anarius was still contemplating. When Anarius returned and saw his beloved in madness, erasing all those who followed them, he still couldn't find the courage to kill her. Instead, he used the World Stone to expel Lilith into the void, an endless, dark void. Ultimately, Anarius decided that the slaughter was not the fault of the Nephilim, so they were allowed to live. However, under his control, they used the power of the World Stone once again to suppress the Nephilim's powers. Successive generations of Nephilim were born. Their powers would diminish until eventually all of their power would fade away, leaving us with a far less impressive product than our Nephilim ancestors, our human race. The Cathedral of Light and the Temple of the Triune. We've just revisited 4 significant historical phases that humanity has forgotten, the next stages after the formation of humanity's first civilization. Sanctuaries should have experienced a peaceful time, but humans still found ways to cause trouble for themselves. The disappearance of the World Stone from Pandemonium Fortress was not an easily detectable matter for both heaven and hell. With Sanctuary concealed and no knowledge of its existence, they had limited means to investigate, but the trouble came from within. Some individuals had the ability to practice magic, though not at the level of the Nephilim, but enough to inadvertently summon a demon by a sect of sorcerers in the Kegistan region. The Vizier Mago clan was responsible for this massive upheaval and was mentioned throughout this timeline. This event made the primevals not only sense the potential of Sanctuary, but also the dormant power within humanity. They schemed and transformed humanity in their direction. Instead of invading Sanctuary and causing chaos or notifying the high heavens of its existence, the primevals created a religion to deceive humans, the Triune, also known as the Cult of the Three. The Triune consisted of 3 smaller cults representing 3 guiding spirits. The Cult of Dialon, dedicated to the spirit of determination. The Cult of Bala, serving the spirit of creation. The Cult of Methus, serving the spirit of love. Initially, humans joined the Triune with good intentions, but they would eventually be corrupted and indoctrinated through the true teachings of the cult. The head of the Triune was Primus, actually the son of Mephisto, Lilith's brother Lucian. 60 years later, Inarius realized the corruption of the Triune and that the burning hells had learned of Sanctuary's existence. He still did not want heaven to know his secret, so he avoided direct conflict. He started a rival religion, the Cathedral of Light. By disguising himself as a human, Inarius became a prophet and leader of this opposing religion. For many years, these 2 religions coexisted, competing to control the hearts and minds of humans. This underground war set the stage for the largest conflict in human history, the Sin War. It is believed to be the moment that would decide the fate of all humanity. During this time, Lilith found her way back into the world from the void and secretly began rebuilding her army of Nephilim. Disguised as a tragic noblewoman, Lilith manipulated and awakened the Nephilim powers within a farmer named Aldition. The man was later revealed to be a direct descendant of Rathma. She manipulated and awakened the Nephilim powers within humans. Unfortunately, Rathma also intervened in this matter and secretly hindered Lilith by influencing Aldition. Rendering the awakening of his power disadvantageous for Lilith, her proposals were rejected one by Aldition, as he now felt strong enough to resist her influence. Along with his brother Mendel and 2 friends Achilleos and Serenthia, gathered people from southern Honduras to form a powerful army known as the Adirum, simultaneously attacking the Triune and the Cathedral of Light. Lilith at that time was also defeated, and she was banished to the void for the 2nd time, before Inarius himself was defeated by Aldition in battle, and these actions did not go unnoticed by the high heavens. Sanctuary, humans, and the presence of demons in this realm were all exposed. Both sides descended upon Sanctuary, continuing the eternal conflict on this world, and it only came to a halt with Aldition's final blow. He sacrificed his own life to drive all angels and demons out of Sanctuary. In doing so, he also wiped to the memories of humanity, so they would no longer remember the power they once possessed and Aldition's existence. Only a select few individuals retained their memories. After this battle and a joint decision by the Langira's Council and the Demon Lord Mephisto, Sanctuary was decided to be preserved, not annihilated as many other worlds had been before. Humans were allowed to develop freely. The World Stone would remain in Sanctuary, and both sides withdrew their forces. As part of this peace agreement, Mephisto demanded Inarius as a prisoner. The Langira's Council agreed due to the events he had caused. Inarius was then imprisoned by Mephisto in what we know to be 3,000 years of torment, the Dark Exile. So did the agreement between the high heavens and the burning hells go smoothly? Did the eternal conflict come to an end? Demons don't always keep their promises. So it's no surprise that the primevals immediately planned to return to Sanctuary and cause disruption, or at least sway humans to support them against the high heavens. The lesser evils, however, didn't like this scheme. They hadn't experienced Audition's power, so they resented the primevals' obsession with humans and believed that the demons were superior in every way. So they wanted to continue fighting the high heavens directly. The lesser evils united to carry out a civil war to overthrow the primevals. In the end, they triumphed and banished the primevals to Sanctuary. Asmodon, the demon commander at the time, believed that the presence of the primevals in Sanctuary would draw the high heavens back to humanity, and the lesser evils would have an opportunity to attack the unprotected gates of the high heavens. While the lesser evils celebrated their victory, the primevals also celebrated their failure, because that was the primevals' plan all along. And when they were overthrown and banished to Sanctuary, they themselves did not violate the terms of the agreement. The three primevals ruled over Sanctuary and subjugated key human organizations throughout the eastern regions, causing pain and suffering wherever they went. According to the plan of the lesser evils, the presence of the primevals was discovered by the angel Tyrael, and he understood the instability of the agreement. He decided to handle the matter himself without notifying the Injury Council. He gathered members from various mage clans and established the Haradrim Order, comprised of individuals who fought for justice and light. They were assembled to hunt down the primevals. The members of the order included Zoltan, Kul, Tal Rasha, and Jird King. The angel Tyrael prepared special artifacts, using shards of the World Stone to capture the primevals. These artifacts were called Soul Stones. They were entrusted to the Haradrim to aid them in the task of capturing the three demon lords and confining their spirits within each stone. Mephisto was the first demon lord captured in the region of Kyrgyzstan. His soul stone was entrusted to the priests of the Zakarum faith located in the Karas jungle. Baal was the next demon lord to be captured. However, his soul stone was shattered during the battle between Baal and the Haradrim. Tal Rasha used a small shard to imprison him. Knowing it could only work for a limited time, Tal Rasha willingly sacrificed his human body to become a vessel to contain Baal. Tal Rasha was then chained and sealed in one of the 7 tombs in the deserts of Arnak. Diablo was the last demon lord to be located in Condorus. A final showdown with Diablo nearly wiped out the Haradrim. Diablo's imprisoned soulstone was hidden in a cave within a labyrinth near the Talzand River. The Haradrim built a monastery to guard this labyrinth. Villages and settlements grew around the monastery over the years. And finally, there was the town of Tristram. Diablo remained imprisoned there for 2 centuries, and humanity forgot the existence of the primevals and thus began the events that shrouded Tristram in darkness. We are introduced to King Leoric. The king hailed from Pechistan as a Karan clergyman. Leoric arrived in the land of Kandurus and, in the name of the light, declared himself king. The old monastery, now in ruins, was rebuilt by King Leoric, transforming it into a grand cathedral to serve as his seat of power. Today, we know it as the Tristram Cathedral. Diablo remained imprisoned beneath the cathedral, continuing to act as a soulstone's vessel. His influence grew stronger, extending to the lands surrounding the town of Tristram. He devised a plan for his own escape, but to do so, he needed a human vessel. With the intent of taking King Leoric's body, Diablo manipulated Archbishop Lazarus to guide his king into a war with neighboring kingdom, making him an unpopular ruler. Prince Aidan, King Leoric's eldest son, was among those sent into battle, but ultimately, the king's will was too strong for Diablo to fully control. While King Leoric was driven mad by the possession, Diablo decided to seize the body of his much weaker son, Prince Albrecht. He was taken by Archbishop Lazarus to the depths of the Tristram Cathedral. Prince Albrecht was implanted with Diablo's soulstone and possessed by him. Archbishop Lazarus continued to lead some of the townsfolk into the cathedral in search of Prince Albrecht. But in reality, he led them into the domain of the Butcher, a bloodthirsty demon in Diablo's service. It slaughtered all the unfortunate townsfolk to empower Diablo. King Leoric, at that point, was driven to madness, accusing and executing innocent townspeople over his son's disappearance. Many were executed on the spot or dragged away. He even executed his own wife. In the end, he was slain by Lachdonan, a man returning from the war in neighboring lands. Prince Aidan later returned from the war. At the same time, he received the aid of 2 warrior groups to investigate the cathedral's mystery. The Diswayer Mage clan, descendants of the sorcerers who had once summoned demons into Sanctuary, led by Jazjak and a group of marksmen from the Sisterhood of the Sightless Eye, the predecessors of the Amazon warriors, led by Moriena. After delving into the 16 levels of the catacomb and defeating the demon known as the Butcher, they soon encountered Archbishop Lazarus and Leoric, now the Skeleton King. The reunion with his father's resurrected visage was a painful one for Asian, even more so when he had to put him down. The group of warriors also faced and defeated Diablo on the final level. Removing Diablo's spirit from his head revealed the body of Prince Albrecht. Seeing his brother's lifeless form shattered Aiden's mind once again. Diablo was defeated, but the Soul Stone was also shattered. Knowing that he couldn't contain Diablo's spirit for long, Aiden decided to drive the Soul Stone into his own head, much like Kal Rasha before him, hoping to contain and control Diablo's essence. Returning to the town of Tristram, Aiden was comforted by the witch Adria after the cathedral ordeal. The witch Adria saw the power of Diablo within the young warrior and pledged to serve him, leading to the birth of her daughter, Leah. Adria then, for reasons unknown, departed for the city of Calvin. Leia remained in the town of Tristram, cared for by an old man named Deckard Cain, the last surviving member of the Haradrim Order. Meanwhile, Aiden became the Dark Wanderer, leaving behind his daughter and the town of Tristram to journey eastward. The tale of the Dark Wanderer is the most significant and pivotal in shaping the fate of Sanctuary. The town of Tristram and its surrounding lands were now under attack and ravaged by Andariel and Doriel. We also learn about Marius, an old man driven insane by the horrors he witnessed. Marius narrowly escaped the onslaught of the demoness Andariel at the monastery of Azaj. After his escape, he encountered Prince Aiden in a tavern, who was struggling to control Diablo's spirit within his own body and losing the battle. Diablo, inhabiting the body of Prince Aiden, summoned demons, slaughtered everyone in the tavern, and manipulated Marius into continuing the journey eastward. Amid the chaos in Khandoras, a group of heroes gathered to investigate the cause. Cassier, a female Amazon warrior from Skolos Island. Zul, a necromancer from the southern swamps. Karthus, a paladin knight of the Sakharan faith from Kyrgyzstan. Is Sandra, a sorceress from the city of Kaldam, and nameless barbarian from Malarib. They were guided and aided by Deckard Cain, the last surviving member of the Haradrim. In their journey, they battled and defeated both lesser evils, chased the Dark Wanderer to the tomb of Tal Rasha, where the soul of the demon lord Baal was imprisoned, and ventured into the Korast jungle where the soul of Mephisto was held. But the heroes were always one step behind the Dark Wanderer. As a result, the demon lord Baal was freed by the old man Marius, and Mephisto was released by Diablo. The final pursuit led them to the fortress of Pandemonium, a strategic location in the ongoing conflict between the high heavens and burning hells that Diablo sought to claim. The Archangel Tyrell then requested the hero's aid in rescuing his lieutenant, the angel Izul. Izul had been captured by demonic forces and had become lost in a desolate wasteland. But upon rescue, Izul proved ungrateful and revealed to the heroes that he had aided the prime evils throughout their campaign. He had plotted the events leading to the dark exile we discussed earlier and the capture of the demon lords and soul stones. Because Izul had taught the demon lords how to corrupt the soul stones and use them to their advantage. This is one of the greatest mysteries in history. It reveals why the primevals always intended to be captured. Tyrell and the Haradrim were mere pawns in their long-term plan. When imprisoned within the stones, they could never truly be destroyed, for their souls would forever be bound to these fragments. Fortunately, the heroes managed to defeat Mephisto and Diablo. The soul stones of the two demon lords were subsequently destroyed in the Hellforge. However, after that, Marius handed the soul stone of Baal to the archangel Tyrael for safekeeping, only to discover that the Tyrael in the asylum was, in fact, Baal in disguise. The old man was murdered, and the soul stone now rested in the hands of the demon lord Baal. The event of the Lord of Destruction begins. The demon lord Baal leads an assault on Mount Arret, the location we know as the World Stone's resting place. The barbarians guarding the World Stone were slaughtered and their fortresses laid to waste. It seemed like the battle could be contained in the Condorus stronghold, but in reality, an elder barbarian leader at the stronghold had struck a deal with Baal to spare the fortress. In return, he would obtain the ancestral relics, allowing him to enter the chamber containing the World Stone without facing the Nephilim's trials. At the peak of Mount Arret, the heroes had no advantage from the sigils. They had to endure trials and battle the spirits of the ancients. These ancients were, in fact, the spirits of the first generation Nephilim. And here, the heroes learned about the power of the Nephilim. And they fought against Baal's most exceptional lieutenants and confronted Baal in the final battle within the chamber holding the World Stone, defeating him. The battle concluded when Tyrael revealed that Baal had succeeded in corrupting the World Stone. To prevent Sanctuary's destruction, the Archangel Tyrael destroyed the stone to hunt for World Stone shards. And the consequence of this is that its shards scattered throughout Sanctuary, leading to a hunt for World Stone shards across the territories of Sanctuary. A minion of Diablo, Skarn, conspired to collect the shards to resurrect Diablo, but with the help of a group of angels led by the angel Veraphiel and some shard hunters, Skarn's efforts to resurrect Diablo failed. Destroying the World Stone seemed to have only consequences, but it also had an unforeseen benefit for humanity. When the World Stone no longer suppressed the power of humanity, some descendants of the Nephilim could now rekindle the power of their ancestors. 15 years after the hunt for World Stone shards, Sanctuary seemed to have a peaceful period. That the two lesser evils, Asmodon and Belial, plotted to gather power from the souls of their fallen demon lords, and they arrived in Sanctuary, leading to the event of the End of Days. All threats from the two demons were concealed until the Archangel Tyrael returned to Sanctuary. At this time, he had forsaken his angelic role because of his actions with Sanctuary without informing the angelic council. He was expelled from heaven and fell to Sanctuary as a star. The old cathedral near the town of New Tristram is where he fell. As an ill omen, heroes from across Sanctuary came to the town of New Tristram to investigate the fallen star and met Leia, the daughter of Prince Aiding, and the witch Audria, cared for by Deckard Cain. Deckard Cain had gone missing since the collision, and Leia sought the heroes' help. Together, they found Cain beneath the cathedral and discovered that the fallen star was in fact the Archangel Tyrael. He returned to warn humanity of a new threat known as the Black Soul Stone. The Black Soul Stone is a dark counterpart to the World Stone created by Zoltan Kulle as the Horadrim had gone rogue. Seeking to harness the power of both angels and demons, the Black Soul Stone has the ability to imprison the souls of both primevals and lesser evils. The Angel Tyrael revealed that Asmodon and Belial were also conspiring to use the Black Soul Stone to seize control of other demons and attack the High Heavens and Sanctuary. The heroes traveled to various locations across Sanctuary to trace the whereabouts of the Black Soul Stone. During this journey, they encountered allies like Adria, Leah's mother, and the powerful witch named Magda, who was the leader of a group that worshipped Belial called the Coven. The heroes eventually found the Black Soul Stone with the help of Zoltan Kulle. However, he betrayed them and tried to keep it for himself. Zoltan Kulle was defeated by the heroes, and they then confronted Belial in the city of Kalba, where he had disguised himself as Emperor Haakon and ruled over the people. They defeated Belial and imprisoned his soul within the Black Soul Stone. Afterward, the heroes journeyed to Mount Arret, where Asmodon was launching an invasion with his demonic army. the heroes infiltrated the fortress and confronted Asmodon in his chamber. They defeated Asmodon and imprisoned his soul within the Black Soul Stone. Tyrael then planned to hide it somewhere where no one could find it. However, Adria revealed herself as a traitor who had been working for Diablo all along. After leaving the town of Tristram years ago, Adria had eventually discovered the existence of the Black Soul Stone and sought it. The secret began the journey of collecting the souls of deceased demons, like Andariel, Doria, Baal, Mephisto, and Diablo. Now, the souls of the demonic horde resided within the Black Soul Stone, and the body of her daughter, Leia, would serve as the vessel for Diablo's soul. Diablo then absorbed all the other demon souls. Now, Diablo opened a portal to the high heavens and began his assault. With the power of the demons, he defeated the Archangel Imperius, destroyed the Diamond Gate, and tainted the source of creation, the Crystal Arch. When the heroes in Tyrael pursued Diablo to the Crystal Arch, it was already corrupted. An energy wave was unleashed, causing nearby angels to lose their life force, their wings fading and disappearing. However, Tyrael, now immortal, and his allies remained unaffected. In that final battle that succeeded in defeating Diablo once again, Tyrael then purified the Crystal Arch and its light radiated once more. But Diablo's body dissolved as it fell from the high heavens, leaving behind only the Black Soul Stone. Tyrael and his Horadrim order planned to hide it in the tomb of the first king of Westmarch, King Rakis. But an unexpected event occurred within King Rakis' tomb.
You have done well, Horadrim. Your service here is finished.
As the Horadrim were sealing the Black Soul Stone, the angel Malthael appeared. He was the angel of wisdom, but in the tomb, he appeared as an angel of death. He immediately killed the Horadrim in the tomb. At that moment, Tyrael could only protect one person. He was sent immediately to seek the aid of the Nephilim. Malthael had taken the Black Soul Stone, altering it so it could consume and contain all the essence of evil within Sanctuary. This means that humanity must face destruction because humans always have a part of their nature that is demonic. Their souls will be torn apart. Malthael continued his plan at Pandemonium Fortress, continuously gathering the souls and demonic essence of humans growing stronger with each passing moment. This event killed over 90% of the population of the city of Westmarch. When the Nephilim arrived in Westmarch, they joined forces with the city's defenders to try to save what remained. The Nephilim also encountered the witch Adria again and learned that she was secretly observing Malthael and seeking a way to resurrect Diablo. Adria said that Diablo had revealed to her a vision of Diablo's return. That it was the Nephilim themselves who brought Diablo back. Adria was then killed by the Nephilim for a betrayal. From her, the Nephilim learned the location of the angel Malthael at Pandemonium Fortress. Malthael plotted to destroy the Crystal Arch, believing it was not fully purified. When other angels born from the Crystal Arch became tainted, the future of the high heavens would be bleak. The Angaris Council was shocked by Malthael's betrayal, especially Imperius. He didn't care whether Malthael wanted to annihilate humanity or not, but Malthael's plan to destroy the Crystal Arch was unacceptable. He agreed that Malthael must be stopped and sent his own angels to aid the Nephilim against Malthael at Pandemonium Fortress. They fought of the Malthael's forces and confronted him at the heart of the fortress. They succeeded in defeating Malthael. Unfortunately, his death caused an explosion that shattered the Black Soul Stone, releasing the souls of the demons back into the world. 50 years after this event, the Horadrim still harbored fears that the demons would return to Sanctuary one day. One of the skilled Horadrim at that time was Elias, who sought a solution to prevent this event by summoning the demon Lilith, daughter of Mephisto and the creator of Sanctuary. Elias believed that Lilith, a unique demon in history, wanted to rise against both the high heavens and burning hells to protect Sanctuary. Elias' actions were thwarted by those within the order, but he later left the order, summoned Lilith, and established a religion worshiping her. True to his plan, Lilith returned with a plot to harness the power of the prime evils by taking over the essence of Mephisto, currently in a form in hell, to become a prime evil herself. Lilith's return set off a chase to capture her within the Horadrim's soul stone. But another event occurred simultaneously. Do you remember the second creator of Sanctuary, the angel Anarius, who had been imprisoned under the burning hells for 3,000 years? During the time when all demons were imprisoned within the Black Soul Stone, the burning hells became empty. Anarius escaped and returned to Sanctuary. Anarius witnessed a world shattered by Malthael's actions. He sought a way to return to heaven, and his first step towards this goal was to resurrect the religion he had abandoned millennia ago, the Church of Light. He regarded Ralphna's prophecy as the gospel of the Church, and made it seem as though he was a hero with a mission to save Sanctuary. Anarius attempted to enter hell, believing that by defeating Lilith, he would be welcomed back into the high heavens. The Church of Light also believed that if Anarius ascended, his followers would as well. Therefore, they supported him in his endeavors. The conflicting interests of the three factions, the Horadrim, the Church of Light, and the Lilithian religion, led to widespread bloodshed in the eastern lands of Sanctuary. The final showdown eventually occurred in the burning hells, and Anarius led the army of light to assault the Tower of Pain. The two confronted each other at the tower. Lilith asked Anarius if the high heavens rejoiced after he killed Rathma, their firstborn child, but the angel Anarius could not answer. He attacked Lilith in anger with his broken staff. She seized the staff and told him that no matter how hard he tried to repent, the angels would never welcome him back, and Anarius was wounded and desperate. At that moment, Lilith took the staff and drove it into his heart, just as he had done to their son. In agony, Anagorus cried out for redemption. But Lilith believed he belonged in hell and cruelly tore off his wings, causing him to dissipate. The horrific and agonizing cries of Anarius echoed through the abyss of the burning hells. His light pierced the tower and then faded forever, confirming the failure of the army of light. The final pursuit of Lilith by the remaining Horadrim led them to the Temple of Hatred in Hell, where Mephisto's essence was held. They succeeded in defeating Lilith in the ultimate battle and imprisoned Mephisto's essence in the Soul Stone. A young Horadrim named Morel joined a group called the Brotherhood. Alone, he embarked on a journey to the western lands of Sanctuary Ivgorod, hoping to seek assistance from monks to contain Mephisto within the Soul Stone. Unfortunately, Mephisto's essence was too powerful, and it sowed hatred throughout the lands Nerelli passed through, with the monks there refusing to help. Ultimately, Nero journeyed to the mysterious land of Cyansai, rumored to hold countless secrets and magical artifacts. The Horadrim's journey to Her Cyansai is the last known event in Sanctuary's history. The return of the primevals is certain. The future may be dark, but we have no choice but to face it. And I will still be here to record the next chapters of Sanctuary's history.